I'm not really sure how to feel about that, to be honest, but I mean, I didn't really sit there experimenting either, so I don't have like an idea of it, because like the place that I found him was in a place I displaced to the right of the swamp on like, I want to say floor 20. There was like a square I could displace into, and it kind of led to. Was it 20? No, it might have actually been on floor like 10 or something. Somewhere around one of those water area and swamp areas, there was a little offshoot that I teleported into with displacement. And it had some of them in it. But I was able to get away from them by just going underwater and fighting the crocodiles in there instead. And then when I surfaced past them, it wasn't a problem. So it kind of, at the time, just made me feel like, oh, okay, they're just an annoyance mob. Run past them or get by them, you know? I mean, they were pretty damaging for a annoyance mob, but they weren't outright killing me. Unlike those giant shadow ninja groups. That's okay. I've been holding my own against the shadow ninjas. They're just big old sponges for being hit with a million spells. It's okay. Yeah, that does make sense that there's some mobs to just avoid. I mean, to be fair, even the base game is kind of like that. Like, who actually stops and fights Grail mosquitoes? I mean, by far, like, the random difficulty spikes are a little annoying, but by far the biggest thing that annoys me is that bottom right area on the top floors. That is pretty impossible to map, considering the fact that you can't even, like, reach up to half the points because you just keep falling. Like, I'm fine with having to use map area and like stuff for lots of like rocks and stuff, and while I don't like the patchwork holes because of the low levels, but still the fact that I just can't reach a lot of those areas is kind of annoying. Well, pogs are actually pretty good experience, so you could just take your weapon off and get some easy experience, but at least they were not bad. They weren't even that dangerous. It's not that it's more difficult. I don't mind it being difficult to and challenging to navigate. I just mean that it's difficult to actually just like get a full map on because you literally can't fly up that high to get the squares. So there's like a limit of 3 to flying. It hurts the cartography for in me, you know? I mean, actually getting around it is easy peasy. Probably the funniest of the monsters on the new floor I've been exploring were the bottom feeders that literally drug the battle out so long I started drowning, and they were so large I couldn't actually leave the fight, so it was pretty funny. I didn't die, but I was like, well damn, that's just amusing. They had 0 chance of actually hurting me, and they just drugged the fight out until I started drowning. I mean, I just think that maybe Declan should have just put in a new spell that's just stronger than Amphibious Breath, or just maybe put in a spell that removes your need to breathe underwater, you know? Like for the end game. Because if you just like raise the multiplier to like 100 times, it's like even the early races could be fine, like, you know? Like by that point it's like we already get it, you know? I mean, so far he hasn't added a lot of new spells that I've seen, but like that's one that probably would have been useful. I will say, I also liked this little castle area that's over here. It's kind of a shame that you blast through this area so quickly, but like, it's actually not terrible for fighting. It's got mostly humanoids in it. I mean, I'm gonna pin before I get to a chance to get in there again, but... like, warriors are some of the better choices for fighting in this area. I just don't have magical flight yet, so I have to be kind of careful where I step. Although I can emergency return to town at any point, so it's not like it's super dangerous. Now, I kind of blasted by it, but I think this might actually be a better weapon for us currently, so... I actually forgot about that for a hot minute. Let's get that in our rotation. I forgot some of these crosses are pretty decent. That's 2 minor upgrades we can get right off the bat. Yep, so we have 29 of the 47 we need, so I think, and we have roughly 8 levels left to get until we reach the level we were reaching for. So, definitely probably gonna have to do a little bit more. Though not too much more, because I estimate you'll probably get about like 10 or 12 more points from what we've been doing, so that will leave us with not too much left on the table. Maybe like 1 or 2 more. I don't know if Warlock is the better bet or that, like... I still feel like that there's more in it for a Sorcerer for us. Each level of Warlock's only going to reduce the cost by 2, whereas we would probably get like closer to 3 out of each pin on that, on Sorcerer. Either one will reduce what we have going on, but... Yeah, we cleared this out entirely. Yeah, let's just go down this way.
Bye-bye.
It does get some nice exclusive spells, but I do feel like the elemental spells are a lot more situational and a lot more maintenance. Like, you really have to remember which spells work on the problem mobs of where you're going, whereas usually everything super dangerous is at least damageable by magic, so Warlock and Cleric have an easier time with their setup most of the time. What I don't really like about what I'm seeing in the items is that it doesn't look like Cleric gets any special items at all, and Warlock still has like the lion's share of special unique items, and you know, even Magi gets a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it kind of looked like every class was trying to get some unique stuff, but some of them didn't really get much at all. That hurt. That's fine, we got plenty of healing.
Cool. Bye-bye.
I didn't find anything for Cleric yet. I mean, it could just be random chance. I found some generic stuff that Cleric can use, but I didn't find a Cleric only set yet. I mean, I get it. I'm not really even fighting much below 31 yet, so... The other thing I found was really interesting is I found a lot of this really, really high level stuff on like floor 25. So... I was like, why am I finding stuff that has like guild level 997 requirement off of like frickin' trolls and like ogres and stuff, you know? Off of the ogres and...
Cool.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find something before it actually matters. It was a notable thing that I'd seen so far. But if there is something for them, I will be happy.
Cool. Cool.
I mean, if there is a set for them, I'm nowhere close to using it with any of my characters, so it really doesn't matter at this point.
Cool. 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 Cool.
The other thing I kind of wish that Declan had solved as one of the bugs along the way was map corruption from items being on the ground for too long. Because there's always certain squares that just get like weird like bugs with them around it. And the only way to fix that is to like map reset. Even if you pick up the items, it doesn't do anything. And there's also phantom items like all over the place.
Cool. 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 Cool.
Yeah, I know. That's basically what I call phantom items. I mean, there is a way to reset it, but you do lose your map progress along the way. Which wouldn't be nearly as much of a problem if the map area spell wasn't kind of gimped in this version of the game. Also doesn't help that there's like 4 times the area to remap too, but that's a different problem. Even if you like put out a tool to like fix your game file to like just uncorrupt that would be great. Like So we've got 34 points to play with. 6 more levels to get. That's getting somewhere. Oh, the mine's gonna be open again? That's good.
Cool.
We'll be back to Ninja in no time. I think after what happened with Archie, it kind of like turned him that way a little bit. Or at least moved him more in that direction. I always thought it was kind of sad they couldn't like reconcile and like do something cool together, because like they both had the drive to really push things forward in different ways. So what I think it is, are you running Windows 10 as well? So the problem is that it's in a system file area. So it's required to be part of the system files. So there's no way to actually stop that from happening. Like you could run the main program as an administrator, but the side stuff it doesn't have access to read or write some stuff it needs to. So you'll get error message regularly. I get some too. You probably notice it if you pay attention sometimes. It'll pop up. But none of it actually impacts like the gameplay. Yeah, so the biggest thing that you'll get errors for are when it's trying to record things like who has the highest gold, like the base game used to, or who's killed the strongest enemies. So every time I play, it'll say, "Oh, you've killed the strongest enemy," because it can't save who has done that. So there would be ways to stop that, and that would be to run like a virtual desktop that's running under a previous version of Windows. So you basically want to emulate the earlier Windows that the game was made for. Windows XP or something like that. Or Windows 7. Either one would work.
Cool.
It's specifically a Windows 10 issue. But it's also only a problem because Declan requires that it be installed to a system folder.
Cool.
And I don't know if that was the only way he could get it to run better, because this game runs in DTR, does not run in Windows 10. So this could be the only way he could get it to run, but he did not get 100% functionality. That is for sure. So it might not really be his fault. In fact, to move forward, he'd probably have to rewrite major portions of the game in a new engine in order to fix that, I would imagine. And while I would certainly support that endeavor, that is tentatively with the requirement that it not change much about the game, because I don't want the game to change, I just want it to run better.
Cool.
Yeah, like I kind of dropped out of the scene for like the past like 10 or so years, and even before then I was with the side that was using DTR, so that was for like a 5 years of its own. So I was basically off of this side of it for 15 years, so I don't really know what Declan did or didn't do. So that is unfortunate. But I don't think the stuff with Windows 10 is actually his fault or because of the encryption. Although it might be keeping others from fixing it. Although looking from the little bit I've seen on the forum, it doesn't look like anyone's super tech savvy in the talking part, because like I was looking at the the auto hotkey stuff, and I was able to massively improve what they had going on there, because like you might have noticed that I was casting my buffs on. I finally got around to setting up my own like auto scripts, because Archie used to have a tool that would just cast your stuff on you, but it was essentially just a auto hotkey script itself. So. I mean, the only other function it had was backing up your files for you. So, that was the only two things it did.
Cool.
Yes, you remember it. Yeah, like I posted my scripts that I came up with, but like the thing is that the fact that nobody could think had posted anything better for people was a little unfortunate because it kind of pointed me towards the fact that maybe people weren't as tech savvy as I thought, you know, in that community. Cause like I barely looked at it and I was like, well, I can improve this, and I'm not even all that tech savvy in my own opinion.
Cool.
Especially not software-wise, cause like I could put together a computer. Like I built my own system recently, but like I'm only so-so on the manual programming stuff. I just happen to have experienced the full breadth of Windows, and I started using MS-DOS before Windows was a thing, so I have the little bit of knowledge that you get from just having such a clumsy operating system that you have to
Cool.
fight with constantly. Yeah, I don't really use it. I have exactly two posts. One where I left a message saying that I found an unintentional way to get into that room, that game room, and another one posting an updated version of that script so that people could at least have something more useful than what was posted. That's my contributions to the community for making this game.
Cool.
Oh, yes, yes. Backing up files using 17 floppy disks.
Cool.
And that's single files. I mean, I'm hardly a real programmer, but what I am is someone that managed to get games to work in MS-DOS. And that does take a certain degree of knowledge.
Cool.
But yeah, I can't really say if it's hostile or not to anything, because I haven't really sat and tried to talk to anyone in that forum. Although I suspect if they knew that most of my experience was with Archie's stuff, they'd be more hostile towards me. See, there's one of my nice errors.
Cool.
Well, that would be kind of nice. I would like a cursed item repository that I could keep one set of each item in. Another one for spell tomes, like a library of sorts. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that's different about multiplayer is if you want to actually start a character, you either have to accept that you're gonna lose some of your maximum HP because you have to get a couple levels to have an easier time, or you have to find a player that will give you the items. Or you'll have to find a store that you can buy them from and then like run around and basically just get money to buy them before you level up at all. Yeah, like the quest items and whatnot. Also, multiplayer, unless it's been significantly changed in Revenge and Ascension, doesn't treat those unique weapons such as the Dragon Slayer and the Mangus as unique, and it would drop every time. As long as you weren't holding it. So you could keep making a lot of money. They were some of the most valuable weapons in the base game. Especially considering you could consistently get them. So in that sense, multiplayer was a little easier on gold. Though I still say that the reason why everyone had trouble with gold in the base game is because they insisted on just running warrior classes into the ground and never doing magic user guilds. Running a magic user guild to high levels solves all of your gold problems. I can't actually tell if this is going to have a gold problem or not. I kind of suspect not, although who knows how crazy going up to 1500 will be, but I suspect if you just have some penalty, it'll still be fine. Or if you raise a magic level guild, it'll still be fine. In an overall sense, it seems easier to get gold. I mean, I know how the Revelation solved it. They actually just put high gold, dangerous enemies in that you could fight if you wanted gold. Like, they had a stronger version of the leprechauns, the clericons.
Cool.
But there was also like a group of like 8 incredibly strong god monsters at the end of the game that each of them dropped like, I want to say like 300,000 gold. So. Yeah, I did suspect that there were places you could go to get plenty of gold. Like, I haven't found any, like, problem with it.
Cool.
One thing I did note that was interesting is that I seemed to be the only like search on YouTube for Demise at all. Like, no one else ever uploaded anything at any point, so. I mean, there's like some stuff from like 6-7 years ago, but nothing anytime recently. I mean, at some point I just decided, you know, I'm already playing it, I might as well record it. I mean, even from the very beginning, I did recommend to people that if they like it, they should just like play it and not necessarily watch what I'm doing 100%, but because a lot of the fun is exploring it yourself. But I understand a lot of people get frustrated by the early game. Particularly the way that they're not going to be used to rooms not telling you when something's important in them. They're not used to walking around and standing on every square. So usually they don't find things like the journeyman's key or like the different quest items. You know, I actually talked to that floor warmer guy. Like, I did talk to them. They got a response, and they kind of, when I saw that, that did inspire me to start recording my own stuff. was like, you know what? I could do this and probably showcase the beginning easier than they did.
Cool.
Because they had a real rough start. Yeah, and I saw the one that Paul did, yeah. I also found something that a streamer did that was heavily using, like, dragons and stuff. They were just charming dragons and that was keeping them alive, and I guess that does work. You can just, like, survive a decent part of the end of the game by just using dragons to kill everything dangerous. I mean, you lose some along the way, but there's a lot of dragons.
Cool.
I tried to make the beginning of my series make it point towards the actual game itself for people to buy and try, so maybe there'll be a resurgence over time as people find the videos for it if they get curious enough about it. Because at least the game is free to try. Although I kind of wish that Declan had stuck with the base game's demo, which restricted you to the first 5 floors rather than number of plays. You know? 15 plays is a little silly. Yeah, although I haven't actually had much in the way any crashes that weren't related to my RAM dying. So the game hasn't really crashed on me by its own merit. I think it would be better to limit it by floor, though. I think the original, like, first 5 floors is a good starting point. I don't think making this run on a platform would actually. Oh, you mean platforms, not consoles? They tried to get it on Steam apparently, and GOG. I think the problem is that neither one of them want anything to do with a game that runs on Visual Basic. Yep. I am gonna stop for a couple seconds and take a short break. I'll return in like 2 minutes. I'll see you in a moment.